technologies that are in mobile that we often forget. Voice can be converted to text. Likewise, text can be converted to voice. We can use mobile for multimedia services, exchanging video, ringtones, wallpapers, and images. We can use mobile for downloading applications on specific and high-end devices. We can use mobile to service the internet. We can use mobile for targeting, either location-aware services or for targeting our media to understand and see how the effectiveness of our media is using. We can use mobile for brand awareness, such as display advertising in SMS with sponsorship. Jeff from Cricket showed us an example yesterday where a brand spent just a few $100s in sponsorship and generated over 540 new clients for their business. So it's an incredible opportunity. And mobile turns traditional media into new and interactive channels. So we have to remember, when we think about all of these things that I just talked about, or what mobile is, remember what I mentioned yesterday, the medium is the message. Each one of these different messages, mediums, changes how the message is perceived and is aware. When we think about that within the context of politics, it's critically important. Because one of the key issues of politics is having consistent message and consistent interaction with your constituencies. So let's step back a little bit again too and review what we mean by mobile marketing and and how we look at that in the case of different venues, politics being an example. Mobile marketing is a set of institutions, processes, and practices that we use to communicate, deliver, and exchange value and offerings with our audience. And we can do that in two ways. We either do that with what we call direct mobile marketing, where we receive prior permission or consent from a consumer to be able to proactively push content to them. The other way, and frankly the more important way at this stage and where the industry is at, is what we call indirect mobile marketing. That's where we're using all of our traditional media and retail channels. We put a mobile call to action in that channel and invite consumers to respond and interact with us. And when that happens, there's two types of interactions. The first being they respond and we simply reply back. The second interaction is where they actually reply and give us consent for an ongoing interaction with them. So these are the concepts, and when we think about mobile and politics, and we think about how this is applicable to the political arena, it makes a lot of sense. Politicians and other people that have key messaging want to engage directly with their constituency and their audience. Likewise, they want to use all of the media that they have available to them. So remember, too, the other thing to think about when we think about mobile marketing, just because we put the word mobile in front of the word marketing, doesn't mean you should throw out all of the existing knowledge you already have. It's just marketing. And mobile happens to be a channel that you can use. So keep in mind all of your key learnings that you already have. And again, we start to emphasize the point of how we use traditional media and retail to engage and stimulate that interaction with the device that's in over 4 billion people's hands throughout the world. And roughly, what do we say, 230 million to 270 million in the United States. Another key point I want to talk about when we think about using all of this mass media and content that we create for mobile. In old world marketing, we would create content specifically for each one of these different types of marketing channels. For TV, radio, print, communication channels, and cinema. And then came the internet. And all of a sudden, the content we were creating and the experience we were creating would start being repurposed across the different media. So we would create content for TV, and that content, television content, is now distributed via YouTube, or via the web, or on movies, or via podcast. And we've had another way of getting our content out there. Now it comes in mobile. And we now have this convergence of content and contact with our clients, unlike any other medium we've had before. All content we create for all other media can all be consumed on a mobile device. Now, as we've discussed in other sessions, as I mentioned earlier in the intensive workshop I gave, that doesn't necessarily mean that all types of content and all types of content are appropriate for every channel of mobile and at every given time at every stage of the customer lifecycle. You still need to be sensitive and be aware of the customer, their needs, their requirements, and demands are. But mobile provides a possibility unlike any other medium we've ever had any business marketing before. So a lot of people will come, especially politicians, will come in and they'll want to say, I want to run a great mobile marketing campaign, or I want to run a great mobile initiative. I'm going to tell you right now that's the last thing, or the last place you should start. When you want to start launching and interacting with mobile, right? It's politics, generalized marketing, trying to do promotions to clients, I don't care. You first want to start with a great strategic initiative. What's your goal? Why are you using this channel? And what are objectives